Welcome back to Trekyards, everyone.
I am Connor Cockins.
And I am Captain Foley.
I was waiting. He gave me a cue there, so I used it. I had to think what I was doing there for a sec.
Q. Come on, Samuel, add the effect.
We'll give the sound effect at least.
Good enough. Anyway, welcome back to another Captain and Commander's Q&A,
Yes.
where we address your questions
Yes.
while he's here, and I can punch him if he says something stupid. Anyway, today's question comes from Lonnie McAfee.
Hey, hi Lonnie.
Is there any one thing you look forward to, anticipate, or fret about the most before planning out a new episode of Trekyards?
Ooh, let's assume it means the Saturday release. The big one.
Yeah, the big one.
Okay, so he wants to know, look forward to or anticipate the most about before planning. Ooh, wow. Ooh, okay, let's break it down. So, look forward to the most.
About a new episode?
Yeah.
I always look forward to the opportunity to learn new things.
Yeah.
Because as much as we think we know, we actually don't know everything, and we actually each learn a lot during each episode.
Yeah.
So, and especially for me, when I have to sift through all of the reference materials and research materials that I do, there's a lot of stuff that I need to incorporate and meld together into a cohesive storytelling script that we have, our formula.
Yeah.
And I do add multiple things from multiple sources to make it very interesting and dynamic for you guys. So I always look forward to learning new bits of information and things like that. So what about you?
I always look forward to reading scripts. Honestly, I'm always thinking, I'm doing other things while he's writing scripts. So I think, well, okay, then I got to sit down and do a day where I just read and just get to absorb and And I love reading how he writes my voice. That's always interesting, and I then sort of tweak his voice sometimes, occasionally, sort of break things up a little bit. But it's fun to see the way, because I understand the way you get the information and how you then turn that into a flowing script with jokes, with this great piece. I look forward to reading that.
Although, to be honest, not all the jokes in this show are scripted. A lot of it's on the fly. Yeah. And we do add little bits of banter.
But normally we add the jokes because we think of them as we write it. Like there are jokes.
Yeah.
We just want to remember them.
Yeah.
And sort of cue ourselves. And then look forward to the most about.
Next is anticipate. I always anticipate seeing his new renders, any new views of the ship, and what he does with the LCARs, and just makes us look pretty and edit us down so we don't sound like bumbling idiots. Because there's the odd time where we flub our lines all the time.
Technobabble, Stuart. I'm not the best.
Technobabble is always interesting. It's always like chewing on like rocks and trying to spit them out into a perfect line.
One great thing about us that we've got to this point is that we approach every line. If we have to flub, reset, we then take a moment and then start back up again. And there's still a flow that we manage to somehow maintain and can pull back into, as opposed to trying to go, like a different tone. It's all sort of back in, and at times, it's like I've done 7 redos in a row. I just can't get it right, and yet I have the same bouncy back to the same tone every time, which is really difficult to do. But I think we've got into that. Anticipate for me, I kind of like. This is again before you make it. I like. So you've written the script. I've learned lots, but then occasionally there's things in your script I think that's not quite right. Very occasionally. There's one recently with a sizing thing. No, it was a CG model. It was a Katinga. It was in DS9. I was like, no, I talked to Doug literally like 2 weeks ago. He said it wasn't. So occasionally we have knowledge the other person doesn't have, which is useful. But then I then get to bring the 3D models from the show or the movies. That's a great bit I anticipate because I get to look at them, actually dissect them, and while I make the scale charts and things, I'm able to think about it in a new way and then write it into the script, which means you get something to look at fresh and say, and normally pull new either jokes or points off of, and give these ships, especially one-offs or two-offs or whatever, more meat on their bones, because you can extrapolate basic things from scale, from dimensionality, from there's more you can look at, and it's really, really fun to be able to do that. Obviously, then you've got to physically do the edit afterwards, and that's like a mind boggle of how much it takes time-wise. But it's fun to be able to dissect these ships. And Prometheus was amazing. I spent like 4 hours just dissecting the model, saying, well, they've got hatches there. You couldn't see them in the show. What are they? They must be this. Let's talk about it. Let's ask Rick. That's a lot of fun for me in the sort of prep.
And that's part is fret about, so worry about. I always worry about how stupid we'll sound. I always worry about me getting a fact wrong or translating it from what I see to... Because sometimes minor dyslexia maybe. I get one or two things mixed around, and it always goes through a reread a few times. But there's oftentimes we read it, we even go through it once or twice, and we don't catch things until we're actually filming.
Typhoon.
Yeah, that was... Anyway. Well, that wasn't research, though. That was just a mission briefing. That's why.
True.
But
yeah, good point.
Yeah, I just don't like getting facts wrong. And sometimes I've noticed one or two when I watch the episode back. I'm like, oh, I did something wrong there or whatever. And, you guys usually point it out. And, we're human. We make mistakes.
And we're also doing a lot of content.
Yeah,
I mean, they all get the same amount of attention, but not as much proofreading. I think it's fair to say. Like, we do have to move on from the thing. Yeah. That's why we trust each other to do certain proofreading. Like, I trust you to watch an episode, and you trust me to proofread an episode in terms of, structure a little bit. Yeah, because I always worry about how the edit's going to go, too, because a lot of times when we're filming something that's especially dear to my heart, like something Starfleet Battles related, I have a specific picture in mind that's in the folder that I included for him, but when I watch it back, I'm always, fingers crossed, and if it doesn't come up, I'm like... So I have to send him, time index this, I want this photo, and it usually pisses him off because he has to re-edit the whole thing, but... that's what I had in my mind, and especially when it's something that I really love. Well, it's just one thing that's annoying. If there's multiple, it's fine because it makes it worthwhile. It's just one. It's like, oh, for goodness sake. But to be fair, now I have a system where you send it. I tell you what I'm going to edit. You send me the folder at that day, and then I take them all into the edit. Before I just forgot. So I was so busy editing, I just forgot you sent me pictures, which is funny because it used to be all your pictures. What do I dread the most? Oh, the edit. I mean, the amount of time. You sit down and say, right, this is me on the computer. Clicking, looking for the next 14, 16,
and hearing me in your ear all the time, 24 hours a day. You can keep talking as
16
he hears
hours a
me
day.
all the time. My voice is always in his ear.
Difficult
things
to try and
hey
edit.
Samuel, there's technical battles
lighting, and you'll expect
things.
me to make it amazing. All these different renders. I mean, the problem with increasing quality is that people expect the increased quality.
Yeah.
People who say we haven't changed since day one, they must be blind, deaf, lame, and there's nothing. So. I did 17 or 18 web renders for the Vorchard. That's unusual. But I wanted to push it to a new level because it's such an interesting ship. Yeah. And it's like, people don't expect it. But it's like, no, that takes 15, 16 hours to make those animations. And that's not time in the edit. That's pre-work. That's like you writing it for... So if you write a 16-hour script, then to write another... It's a process on a process on a process. Yeah. But we always try and do it. That's the important thing. We don't ever let the quality slide. It just takes time and thought, and we're lucky, honestly, with our lives how we make it work. But I definitely dread the amount of time. That said, when it's done, I know that this fortnight is now covered.
Yeah, we usually have quite a buffer between.
Yeah, we work hard.
Yeah, but anyway, I think that covers that question. Thank you very much, Lenny. That was a great question. We love love answering stuff about our show.
Absolutely,
specifically. So, anyway, guys, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
If you want to support us on Patreon, which is a monthly YouTube service, or a one-time donation over at Trekyards.com, please do, because we do a lot of shows, as you guys know, and they all need support. So please do if you can. Thank you.
All right, until next time, guys. I'm Captain Foley,
and I am Quino Cockins.
So tune in, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
So now I'm worried about the next episode because
so many next episodes. God damn,
what are we gonna do?